as an excuse to meet her new neighbors. She remembered everything, each individual garden that made her eyes go wide and her breath catch in her lungs. She remembered the soft as cloud lamb's ear and prickly cones of teasel in the petting garden. She remembered the large orange koi fish from the rock garden that wagged their golden tails in happy greeting, and the children who reached into the pond to tickle their bellies as if the fish were dogs. She remembered bright walls of bougainvillea standing neighborly beside creeping, spidery Venus flytraps. How such exotic species grew in the Catskills seemed halfway between a miracle and an abomination. And she remembered the bright sentinel sunflowers that lined a long corridor of tall green hedges. If she didn't know better, she might have sworn they followed her with their big drooping heads when she passed by. But mostly, what she remembered was the thing she wanted most to forget, the remembering garden. The maze, some people said, could bring on a kind of mental or emotional clarity, if a person was open to it. The things a woman didn't understand about herself might become clearer. The difficult choice a man had to make would not become less difficult, but he might feel more confident about making it after a visit to the garden. Gloria had dismissed the rumors and ducked into the remembering garden. The little green rooms of tall hedges was classical and poetic, elegant ivory columns, a pretty marble fountain of a woman pouring water, and words chiseled simply in a stone architrave. Sit a while and remember what's forgot. The plump honeybees were buzzing, the fountain was singing, and the garden was gently landscaped with champagne-colored roses, cascading green ivy, and hummocks of forget-me-nots. Gloria thought of nothing special. People passed by. Thoughts of an old friend that she had not spoken to in a long time popped into her head. She could only assume this was the power of suggestion. Later, after she'd spent a sleepless night wrestling with fitful dreams that were full of apologies she had no intention of making to her long-lost friend, she blamed the Pennyworts for the annoying crookedness of the bumper of her car, which had happened as a direct result of both the remembering garden and the guardrail that had kept her from going into a rocky Catskill ravine when she'd fallen asleep at the wheel. This was not magic, mind you. It was simply a thing that happened, because it's never a good idea to sit and ponder the past too long. Although most people in the vicinity of Green Valley did not like to say much about the Pennyworts, and got an odd look on their faces whenever Gloria tried to tease out a little harmless gossip, no one denied that the family was a little bit different, if not strange. At the very center of the Pennyworts' garden maze was a squared-off area, no more than the size of a one-car garage, surrounded on all sides by heavy stone walls and accessible only by a locked, opaque wooden gate. Dented metal signs were posted every 6 feet on the wall at varying heights and in multiple languages. Mantener fuera, hala ut, keep out. All of the little plots in the Pennyworts' garden maze looked healthier than they should be under the tinder dry circumstances, but it was this walled-in center that was blooming most voraciously in the summer drought. Gloria could see down into it from her vantage point on a hill that overlooked Green Valley, and the garden's reds, yellows, pinks, whites, oranges, and purples seemed to be frothing out over the tops of the stone walls in certain places, and spilling effulgently over the sides like a sloshing, heady beer. Once, on a neighborly trip to see if the Pennyworts could make use of her old dehumidifier before she threw it out, Gloria had asked why no one was allowed in the walled garden at the heart of the maze. No one except for Olivia Pennywort, who apparently made her ingress and egress as she pleased. But the answer Gloria got was so non-committal and vague that within an hour of hearing it she could no longer even recall what it was. Now it annoyed her that the Pennyworts were not only watering their gardens illegally, but they seemed to be squandering community resources on a garden that nobody from the public was even allowed to see. "Maybe there's a loophole," Richard Zeiger said from his armchair, his remaining hairs shivering in the blow of the air conditioner. "Maybe they're allowed to water because they're a commercial enterprise." "They're not a commercial enterprise," Gloria said. "Or at least they're not supposed to be. They don't charge anything for people to get in." She didn't need to raise her binoculars.